Welcome to The Dialogue, Learning from the Masters. This podcast will offer you a rare glimpse into our in-depth interview with screenwriter Susannah Grant.
Where do you start with dialogue? Let's say, for example, you've been hearing this character in your head. Do you pay special attention to their very first entrance, their first lines of dialogue? Do you think
I tend to pay attention to that. I like doing that. It's really fun. I have a lot of fun with introducing characters. Dialogue is always kind of second nature to me. I think I've always done it. My sisters, when I was growing up, would always tease me because I'd just be running around things in my head and occasionally they'd come out of my mouth. So we'd be sitting there in the car and just nonsense would come out. It made sense because it was in the middle of a very elaborate conversation I was having in my head between, some fantasy characters, but they would just escape.
Do you have any other approaches to, like, when you're trying to distinguish voices, or?
Dialogue is one of those things I wouldn't know how to tell someone. I feel like if you have a good ear and you care about it, it'll happen. And I don't know that it's something you can learn.
That's what I was going to ask.
Maybe it is.
Can you better your ear? Can you, have you ever gone and recorded recordings or ride on the subway?
No, I listen and remember. I write things down.
Just as a matter of course.
Yeah. But that's my interest, I think if you're interested in it, you're probably going to be relatively good at it because it's something you love. I love how people express themselves. I love how they rarely say what they're thinking. Rarely, And I love language and voices and regionalisms, I always have. And I think if you have that love of it, it'll probably come out in your work. If you don't have that love of it, then maybe you shouldn't be trying to do it, Maybe you should be doing something you really do love.
This has been an excerpt from The Dialogue, Learning from the Masters with screenwriter Susannah Grant. To get the full interview on DVD, go to thedialogueseries.com. There you will find this and all 27 in-depth interviews with the industry's leading screenwriters. You can also find these interviews at Netflix, Amazon, Audible, and coming soon to iTunes.